Hello, 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 hello. We are back again. We're going back to Luxembourg with our farm. I haven't loaded in, and the reason I haven't loaded in is when I went to load the save game, it gave me an error. It gave me an error message. It gave me a message, not specifically an error message. So there's obviously been an update version, and so I'm going to just look at whether or not it breaks the save game that I've been working on. Now again, early access, some of that's kind of expected, so we'll see what happens. But we're getting this, and again, it's a mismatch of the version. Again, placeholder text, fantastic, super smashing great, but you get what you need to know. The version's changed, and you've got either a yes or a no. So we're going to click yes, and then we're going to save as a -2 the game. We're going to save it as a -2 just so that we can always go back if we need to. And this is fairly standard, I think. So we're going to go File, Save, and we are going to go to that. And oh, we can't do that. So we're going to have to go there. We're going to go. Actually, going to have to type. How very rude. How very rude. But there we go. That's all good. Okay. So we are. Not beautiful, obviously. We are in the middle of 2033. We are growing zucchini here. Why is this field bare? Presumably we already harvested what was on there. Oh, yes. So let us review. Let's put some ryegrass on there to recover. We've got our last lettuce crop on that one. Because we're doing 3 lettuce crops there. We've got zucchini here. Needs a bit of a weed spray. We have onions. Onions here. Almost ready to harvest. Have our chickens and our what's-majiggers. Chickens and our sheep. And we have our apple fields, which are the new ones. So yeah, we're doing okay. We are. We peaked at just over the 1 million mark at the end of 2032. So we're going to see where we end up with at the end of 2033. And again, I haven't seen anything. Let's have a look. Is there any? I don't think there's be anything new. I think pretty much if the version's changed, they've probably put some fixing in place for stuff and things. And because there's been a lot of activity. Obviously, the reviews on Steam at the moment are mixed, and I think that's differing expectations of what early access is. Some people are saying that it's a little bit too early even for early access, and the game isn't really ready. I can't say that I've experienced that. I'm enjoying it. I'm still playing it. But again, everyone's expectations are different. Some people are obviously expecting things to be a little bit, I guess, more ready. And I've kind of worked within IT, so perhaps my tolerance for stuff is a little different. So just going to say that. I think that's the fairest way to put it out there. And I don't think that the people that are complaining have particular. I don't necessarily say they're wrong. They just have a different expectation. So, and that's kind of how life is. So. Bum 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 bada bum bum bada bum bada ba-dum bum. So we're close to our zucchini harvest. Have we got anything to sell? We have no, don't have anything to sell at the moment. It's all good. Right. So ryegrass is being seeded, and we're not necessarily going to use ryegrass on every field when we don't need to, but where we need to recover, we're going to use it. even though it does mismatch. And these mismatches on your main crops cause a lot of difficulties, cause a real... Or not these small ones, but the larger ones that you do see. As you can see, that's 0.1% health a day. So we would lose 0.3% health per day, or on that crop, if it was a cash crop per se. Some of those mismatches can be quite steep. We found out when we planted strawberries down here on this field before we made it pasture for the chickens, and we lost the whole crop gone. So so you gotta tune in. You gotta tune in. And I haven't played it on hard mode. I don't know if that's what some of the people are doing and finding it really, really hard. I'm just playing it on casual. My personal recommendation, if you're new to the game, whilst you kind of dial in and get used to things, start with free play, because it gives you a bit more money, and the fields are a little bit more tolerant. Then you'll get used to kind of buying your fields, the mechanics of the game, and then get into casual farmer. So there we are. But yes, it's another beautiful day. Well, another rainy day, both in-game and outside my window. Oh, we've got onions and zucchini being harvested. Okay. It's all coming to an end. Whack an NPK on there. And a weed spray just to get that one to the finish. Hopefully. Okay, so we got some onions harvested. 22,000.
For impact.
Thank you very much. Those of you on Twitch, that little all hands brace for impact is your cue that the adverts are coming within the next 1 to 2 minutes. Most likely. So Twitch says. Sometimes they just do the zoom in to put the screen in and then put the adverts around the edge. Sometimes they actually run full screen ads. It's a job to know. Let's get rid of some of our messages. So yeah, so we're going with our standard approach now. So we've got into a fairly standard rhythm for each year. We kind of get to the end of the year, we sell our animal products at the end on the 30th of December. We start in January, we plan our crops after looking at the contracts to see if there's any that we're capable of, because not all of these crops we can reliably grow. So I don't think we can reliably grow strawberries or tomatoes. I just have carrots. Carrots? Maybe, but certainly not 18 tons. And asparagus definitely is not our friend. So, but still, it's all craziness. La 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 la. Okay. And also, if anyone from the Global Farmer team is watching, I do appreciate the mention that you gave when I was streaming on Tuesday. So I appreciate you guys are very busy with all of the kind of post-release kind of bugs and fixing things. And like I said, my honest opinion is published on my Steam review. I'll update that when things change. But effectively, I enjoy the game. It's got some bugs. If you don't want a game with a few bugs, don't hold off. Wait for it to go through some patches. None of the bugs I've encountered have been particularly game-stopping. So I'm rolling with it. So rolling with it and enjoying it for what it is. So There we go. Almost got the zucchini in. There we go. How much zucchini? We got 6.25 tons, 60,000 squidoodles. Don't mind if I do. Yeah, I'm going to hold off on that. I'm not going to run ryegrass on that crop, on that field. I am going to run it on this one. Because reasons of raisins. Because I'm just like that. I do random things on occasions. Well, not really random. Yeah, random, I suppose. Okay, we need NPK up here. Stat. There we go. That field cost us 1.5 million squidoodles. Some soil differences there. But this, I guess, only has a 1% difference on the pH, apparently. It would be nice to see a little bit more of this. I click into the crop and see a little bit more. Okay, is it just the pH value that's got a difference, or does it also have differences with the clay, the sand, and the silt? And this is just the most significant one that harms it the most, or is this just the one that's in alpha order, or some such? Because it's not usually just one. If you've got a mismatch, you've usually got a mismatch on all three, not just one of them. From the experience that I've had, and again, as the saying goes, your mileage may vary. So, da-di-da-di-da. So lettuces is our last. Well, no, onions. Oh, we've got the onions in. Yeah, we're definitely putting some ryegrass on there because it needs it. Gonna get a little weed spray as well. Did we confirm that? Yes, we did confirm that. What am I doing? Okay, I'm going to the marketplace because we've got the onions to sell. Another 22,000 from onions. So back up to nearly 750,000. Which is fairly good. The reason I'm keeping it in euros is because we're in Luxembourg. So it's authentic. Well, for when I was in Luxembourg, it would have been Luxembourgish francs, but Luff. It's a good currency. I think it was almost like 100 Luff to the pound. So you would I had to withdraw like 7,700 Luxembourgish francs, I think. For my rent or something like that. I can't remember, but it felt like a lot because it's a large number, but it was not in reality a large number. Not in relative currency terms. But there we go. Do. So we've been having a few new people coming into the streams, and I just want to say thank you if you have been new and popping your head in and seeing what's going on. Hopefully you've enjoyed what's been going on with the lives. I try to keep it light, try to keep it entertaining, try to have fun with what I'm doing, and that's about as complex as it gets. Oh, we're harvesterizing the apple. We didn't manage to get the NPK on there, apparently. But we are harvesterizing the apples. At least there we are. How much longer have we got to go for our one field down here? This field is also harvesterizing. Excellent. Okay, so we have 3.7 tons of apples from the forest, which is this one up here. Let's go and sell those first. So 65,000 we got from there. We'll see how much we get from this one. So we're now, yeah, with the 200,000 that we pretty much know we've got coming from the sheep's wool, we will be back up to the 1 million mark. Despite the fact that we've invested and we bought a couple of extra fields for the apples this time. There'll probably be zucchini next time, but maybe we'll have a look and see how an orange tree field goes. Because I haven't tried those. We'll just check. Let's check we can store oranges. Oranges and lemons. And olives and apples. They all go in the ventilated warehouse. And it's all good. Excellentages. So we'll see how we go. We've done an expansion this year, so we might just run a year with no expansion in 2033. Sorry, 2034. Or we may not. We do need to start expanding and starting to get some equipment and do bigger fields like this, which means we probably need to have. But we kind of built up. These ones were the larger fields than this. This was our largest field. But no, they weren't larger. They were just slightly smaller, but there's two of them. That's what it was. But again, just trying to find fields where we minimize the difficulties that we'll have with soil mismatches. And what I'm forgetting after having preached this on Tuesday to some of the new folks in the stream was forgetting about the forests. The forests can be used as fields. So don't just ignore them and think that, oh well, it's selected and it's just an issue. It's not. It's useful. Someone did ask the question: are forestry operations in the game? They're not at the moment that I have seen. I don't know if they are planned. Okay, so that was our apple field. So this is our apple field down here. And we're going to see how much that nets us. The other field got us 65 grand. This got us 56 grand. So I forget how much we spent on those fields. Let's go back in our finances and see if we can see. We bought them back in January. So we bought the fields for 340,000, and they've netted us about 110,000. So 3 years they'll pay themselves off, approximatively. So that's I'm good with that. I mean, we're making enough profit on plenty of things now, which is always helpful. Yeah. Time to start adding another parking bay so that we can have some more. We can have maybe an extra tractor and we can do more things simultaneously and stuff like that. So we're starting to get lots of things happen. that's okay. We're going to take it a step at a time. So we've gotten... That was our last... No, this is our last actual crop harvest. So we'll get to the lettuce. Let's whack NPK on. Doodly doo, doodly doodly doo, doo 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 doodly doo. See, because we are 3.396. We make about 4 tons of wool per year. Wilson, please be quiet. Sorry, dog's going nuts. Probably just the garden bin being collected. Goes nuts. Well, he goes nuts for anyone that kind of comes within 300 million miles of the house, which is about normal for a dog. Fortunately, I don't think it triggers the microphone, so that's why I kind of paused a little bit there, because to try and hopefully alleviate that. So 0.57 hectare field. Odd shape, but there we go. 7.93. Ooh. Yeah, going for a huge field could be a big boon for us. We might need to increase our workers. We might need to go for a crop, because the zucchini is a good crop for us, but we have to hand harvest. I don't think that we have anything in the game yet that can be used as a harvester. Let's just double, triple check. Pumpkin harvester. Can harvest pumpkins. Superb. Wonderful. Super smashing great. There's my zucchini harvester. Potato harvester. Potato root harvester does those. Yeah, so there isn't anything at the minute that will do that. That's... Don't recall seeing the pumpkin harvester previously. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's something that's been added. I just don't recall seeing it. So I'll maybe go back on a stream if I get the chime and have a look for that. So, but yeah. So hopefully, if you're all out there, we got through Hump Day. So yesterday was Hump Day. So it's now downhill to the weekend. So hopefully your week is going well. Certainly always the hope. So let's check these fields out. Do we need to put ryegrass on? I'm not going to put ryegrass on that one. And I'm not going to put ryegrass on that one. So we are good to speed up to the end of the year, I think. Oh, we've got our lettuce harvest that's just come. That's netted us another 14,000. Thank you very much, lettuces. That field, I'm also going to leave where it is. Actually, no, I am gonna put ryegrass on. There we go. Let's just do that, because it's been very active with the lettuces. There we go. Okay, so now we're to November. Time scoots by. All the ryegrass eventually gets harvested. I don't worry over that, because now we're in December. That's the ryegrass being harvested there. Happy Christmas 2033, everybody. There we go. Okay. I know I say that every single time we go through Christmas on the game. Just because. Reasons of raisins. Okay. So now we are going to sell our 210,000 squidoozles euros worth of, what's it, 8,000 euros worth of eggs. We definitely need to plant some summer wheat because we're down to 3 tons. We had about 8 tons. So we're definitely going to need to get some more summer wheat going this year. I'm thinking we'll probably plant it on the big field. That's a lot reduced from where we were. But we'll go into the new year and see what our... so Happy New Year 2034! Woo! We're going to see what our contracts are in just a moment. We made money. So yes, so we're about the same as we were when you consider we bought those fields and we actually only over the course of the year are down 5 grand. Happy with that result. But why? I thought I told you to pause. I didn't want you to go into that far into January, you silly thing. Maybe I didn't press it hard enough. Okay, but nevertheless, January's not going to be a month that we're going to worry about anyway. So let's see what the contracts are. We've got a contract for zucchini. We're taking that. Got that same big contract for carrots. And I don't think we've got enough field space to cover it, so I'm not going to even entertain it. And these are out because of strawberries and tomatoes. So we know we're going to do zucchinis anyway. We might as well take the contract. And that should, with luck, get us an achievement, because there is an achievement for finishing 10 contracts. So fingers crossed. So in that case, we are going to look for summer wheat on this field. Oh, it doesn't like it very much there, does it? Let's put it there. Lack of sunshine is really an issue for this time around. The no nitrogen I'm not so worried about. So let's check one of the other fields and see if one of the other fields is not suffering the same. Summer wheat. So 26% lack of sunshine is still gonna... We do need it because we're gonna need it for the chickens anyway. So we may just have to go... So it's 0.2. Looks to be about the best we're gonna get. So we will lock that one in and we'll spray a little. No, we're not. That's 2 grand. We'll spray NPK when it gets it closer to the time. Zucchini. I think we said we were going to go zucchini on the apple fields. So let's cancel that. Let's go for our zucchini. And we're going to do a cultivating on this because it will help us with the weeds. Okay, we've got 100% there by planting at the end of May. Let's lock that one in. Let's go to this field. I'm going to try and follow these 2 fields with similar stuff, similar rotation. So go just there in June. Not getting better than a 97% on this field. Going to go there just a week or so after the other field. We are going to whack the cultivation on. Confirm that one. So these 2 fields, we've been keeping those in a similar rotation. They were onions last time. Have we done pumpkins? I don't think we get a lot. Yeah, we got the sunshine is not adequate for pumpkins in this locale, so we won't do pumpkins. I'm suspecting the same will be true for olives. Yes, very much so. Let's look. We'll check the tomatoes. Yeah, the tomatoes also suffer the lack of sunshine, which is why we won't bother. Lemons. Again, lack of sunshine. Just going to explore these different groups. Excuse me 1 second.
All hands brace for impact.
Sorry, my microphone's been on mute that whole time. I thought I'd unmuted it. I do apologise, everyone. Been talking away to myself, literally to myself this time. So apologies. We kind of came back. We kind of got some. I'm just going to recap now because that was just silent. So apologies. So I talked about kind of the grain silo only being like 10 to 12 kilos, 10 to 12 tons. So we went with the medium-sized one, which is 100 tons, which is much better. I sold the old one because I didn't feel there was value in having one so small. But we've retained the two smaller ventilated warehouses and added the medium warehouse, and I just did some moving around of the equipment. We got some duplicate equipment, so duplicate seedbed preparator, so we can do more than one field at once. The same for the vegetables, because we're doing a fair amount of onions and zucchini. Tend to be our kind of main onions, zucchini, and apples tend to be the crops that we're honed in on. Haven't gotten a second root harvester, but as long as we can just differentiate those a little bit, that'll be fine. I did debate whether or not to get a second second weed sprayer, but usually we're doing weed and NPK, so we've only got 2 tractors. We'd need another tractor to make that useful, in my opinion, but it's a bit of an investment in the future. Like I said, we spent about 200, just over 200,000, which is a little bit less than we spent on the fields in 2033. So I'm not overly concerned. So we started to see seeding of the apples. So yeah, so apologies, like I said, I muted when I went and got the dog, and I pressed the button to unmute, but I didn't actually look at it, so... Then I looked at my levels, and it's got, yeah, I'm talking, but there's nothing going on the screen. Oh dear. Way to derp. Way to derp. So... just going to have a little look around some of these other larger fields again. They could come in handy next time. Obviously, for the larger fields, we might go between onions. Well, apples and zucchini both have manual harvesting. Lettuce, I think, also has manual harvesting. Onions and potatoes. Can we harvest potatoes with that harvester? I don't think we can. Onions and carrots. Yeah, it'd be nice to get a big field that we could do either onions or carrots on. ultimately it'd be really lovely if you could have like a list of all the fields, kind of like the field overview, but just a list of all the fields that are available, and or just a list of the crops and which fields are suitable. So we've got 76% there. The carrots. 98% for onions. What do we get here? Onions 95%, carrots 75%. Just trying to find somewhere. Got oats as well. We don't have a harvester for that, but who knows? Who knows? See, that's 4 million, so that's outside our price range. Just a little outside our price range. So we're starting to seed the zucchini crops now. And still see that visual issue of the previous unharvested crop that was harvested. That does go away. It's just a bit of, like I say, a bit of state issues. Managing the states seems to be an issue, particularly when you're kind of going between fields, when you're using the save game. Doesn't seem to break anything for me, so I kind of just accept it. Just looks a bit funky, so yeah, so that one is doing okay. All the fields that are growing, we've got to keep an eye on. That one needs some nitrogen. I'm going to throw some NPK on there because it probably needs a little bit of the others, but not a huge amount. Do. Growing zucchini. Put some NPK on there in a little bit. So yes. Okay, so the insufficient sunshine hours has come down to a yellow warning, so it's not as bad as we're getting into further into the year. So we could find a different spot and start a new farm, but we're here. Let's stick this one out for at least for the time being. Because it would be silly not to. It's not too... How are we doing? Apples, good. Taters are okay. Just kind of creeping up there. I wanted to whack some NPK on there. So zucchini does use a lot of nutrients as well. I just tend to keep it topped up. May not be a realistic way to play it, but it's what seems to work for me. So, because you can let it go, and like I said, generally it'll get down to nothing in the some of the resources, some of the nutrients. But yeah, as you get further on, that does cause some levels of crop deterioration. So what is our year going to be looking like? Let's have another look at the field overview. So yeah, so we've got yeah, almost everything's in now. The zucchini's just gone in. Quite why that's called grazing field, I don't know, but it's not using it for. Can change that name if you want to. Non-grazing fields. Feeling a little bit snarky this morning, but there we go. It's all good. And I'll relabel this one Sublime Non-Forest. I'm in a quarrelsome mood today. It's all good though. It's only in jest. So if we go back down here, you can see where this one's got that same affect of the apples over the planted crop. We come back down to here. Oh, no, it has still got it here. I thought it had gone away on this one. We'll see if it goes away at a particular growth stage. I think it does. I certainly don't remember seeing it when we get to the new harvest. So potatoes are doing well. Everything. Just keep checking your fields. Always a reminder: you can only affect the irrigation and the nutrients and the weeds. You can't change the soil texture or pH at the moment without going into the editor. So if you go into the map editor, you can edit that. So actually, that's a fairly good point. I'm gonna take a little distraction pause. Take a distraction pause. We can save the game. I'm going to go out to the main menu. We're just going to look at that because obviously, if you've got an issue, hello, Vamp. How are you today? So if you've got an issue, say, with not having the ability to sow some of those crops in the fields, like for example, we might have. I'm going to delete. I can't delete that one. That's something that's been reported. You haven't got to delete. So we're going to go in here and we're going to edit. And one of the things that we can do if we look at the field, so for example, this field here has got its sand, nitrogen, phosphorus, water, pH. So you can actually, I'm assuming these are upper and lower values. I don't know, because obviously they're not labeled. So if you've got silt, clay, sand, and you've got values that are needed by particular crops, which we know there are, you could edit. You can see these are a little bit randomized. As we click around, these values change and chop. So you could go in and edit that just so that you can make sure that you've got the ability to do some of those crops on your own custom fields. So that's possibly worth noting because I keep saying you can't change those values, and the truth is you can in the map editor. You just can't change them when you are in game play. So that's why there's a lot of comment about that at the moment. Okay, well, you can do the custom. Yes, it's a bunch of effort. Totally get it. It's a bunch of effort. But there's people that are going to be putting that effort in, throwing maps into the Steam Workshop for people to be playing around with, and yeah. So And if you're not sure what to do, you can see these crops when we go to, for example, if we go here and we kind of go in here, you can see the ryegrass. Does it want for the soil? No, not the ryegrass. We don't want the ryegrass. That's a really, really bad example, Fad. Really, really bad example. Lettuce. So you can see yeah, you can't see. Trying to see how we see the sure I thought I saw it somewhere that it wants particular values. Maybe it's in marketplace. No. I honestly can't remember. But I honest to God thought that you could see what the particular crop wants. Let's try it on here. Oh, here we go. So it's a hover over. So you can look at the texture and you can say, okay, right. So the lettuce wants, it grows optimally on 40% sand. It grows optimally on 40% silt. It grows optimally on 20% clay. So it's looking to get those values. So if you're looking for, you want to kind of farm a particular crop and you want to edit your field in the map editor to be suitable for that crop, this is where you've got to go to look at. So go into the planting screen and hover over the soil texture icon, and it will give you tooltip to tell you what value. As you can see, when you've got those mismatches, so we've got onions grow nicely for us. It's got a sand mismatch, but the silt and the clay. So because the combination is relatively good, the sand mismatch doesn't seem to hurt us on this one, which is I'm okay with that. So you see, you get how much health it will lose. So you can see just the sand seems to be less of an issue than the silt and the clay. So those ones, okay. So that one's lettuce does lose a bit, but it tells you how much health you'll lose. So you can tune your fields in if you need to. Again, we look at that. So optimally 40% sand, but yet the apples are a little bit less sensitive. Oh, the pH value as well. Maybe that's where some of it's coming in for the lettuce. Okay, so the pH value isn't causing us any harm on any of those. And then you've got the weed values, which you can manage. You've got machines and storage types. So yeah, so you've got sunshine hours and your temperature expectations. So you can see these crops, like the lemons, a lot of sunshine hours needed, a lot of higher temperatures. Not a crop for Luxembourg. So yeah, so there we go. So and yeah. Now I've kind of done my little aside. Vam, how are you? I hope you're well. I'm sure I did welcome you in, but I just didn't do the standard follow-up of, hey Vam, what's going on? What are you doing? So we are pushing on through. We've got zucchini on our former apple fields. And look, we've gone to another growth stage, and those apples have gone. So, yeah, looks like after we get to like 10 out of 90 on that, we seem to have gone to another growth stage, and the artifacting of the previous crop has gone away. Like I said, it is just a visual thing. Might be a bit annoying, but certainly doesn't stop you working the field and doing what you need to do. So what could we do with this crop, with this field? So could with the
All hands
zucchini.
brace for impact.
Zucchini crop fit is 78%. Be really nice. Like I said, I really do want to get into much larger fields. So that's 5. That would be larger than anything we've got. Got a clay difference on the onions though, so that's. Would probably want to find one where we've got sand difference. So like here, we've got a difference of sand of 14%. That seems to be more tolerable. So that could be a good apple field. So that one could work. Again, sand difference on the onions. Again, that doesn't seem to affect the onions too badly. 41% silt, 33% clay. That's, yeah, so it's just the sand that's out of whack, because it wants 40% sand. You've got fields that are about that. I guess the other way to do it is to compare it to our existing ones. So 26, 41, 33, 28, 42, 30. So very similar to that field, which we know we can put onions and apples on. And this one, which we know we can put. So this field, I think, is going to be a good field for us. Certainly apples, onions, zucchini, probably zucchini as well. We get, so that field is our big field to aim for, I think. So, Blooming Meadow. I'm going to rename it to Blooming Big Meadow. Okay. Because we can. Even though we don't own it, we can rename it. That may change, I guess, because why would you rename a field that you don't own? But at the moment we can, so we will. Okay, so let's keep clicking through our fields. This one needs a bit of potassium, a bit of a zhuzh on the weeds. This one's doing okay. Okay. Zucchini is doing okay. So yeah, so that's our aiming point. That's the next big thing I want to do. So like I say, 1.6 million squidoodles. It can take some getting there. Might need an intermediate field. So what's this one? 37, 33, 30. Yeah, those fields are not helpful to us, particularly for those crops. So the asparagus, what does the asparagus want? So we've got 37, 33, 30. 6.4. Let's look at asparagus. No, I didn't want to grow it. I just want to get it bulbous. 30, 60. Oh, 60 sand, 30 silt, 10 clay. Interesting. Interesting. We shall see. We shall see. Really ought to kind of just write that down and go through the fields. See what we want. Because asparagus does seem to be a recurring crop, so we're trying to find the best match for it. So asparagus, eels, wants 60% sand. Uh, 30% silt. With a of 6.6. No, 6.5 to 7. Okay. Okay. Let's keep an eye out for fields. So now I've got something we can try and find an asparagus field. Okay. That worked. No. Silt is high. Sand is way lower than expected, but sand doesn't seem to matter too much, so just pH difference. It says 0.9, but it's 6.1 and it's supposed to tolerate 6.5 to 7. But it does only say a 71% match. Do, 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 do. That's closer. So closer. Asparagus is about 85% match there. Not forgetting the forests. That. Ooh, that's 19% sand difference, but that doesn't seem to be too awful. pH is in a good range. Could that be where we want to plant asparagus? Hey, poor Johnny, is this early access available on Steam? Yes, it is on Steam. If you... hang on a second, let's find a link. I did have one. And then I didn't have one. Just get back into my old past YouTube stuff. Past streams. Let's edit that one. Pop in the chat for you. There's the Steam link if you are interested in having a look. I said it does have mixed reviews at the moment, and it is early access. There are some things not going massively well for some people. And yeah, I'm trying to be as honest as I can about my experience with it, which has been relatively good. I've had some issues, not a huge amount. Certainly nothing to stop me from enjoying the game. So that so yeah, you're very welcome. And how am I, fam? I'm doing okay, thank you today. It's another day. That was not a bad field either. So now at least I've got the right criteria to evaluate for the asparagus fields. Got a 33% sand difference, but difference on the sand sometimes. We haven't got anything with that much sand anywhere on the map that I can find. 60% sand is quite high. Highest I'm seeing is like this field down here. We've got 41%, so that's might be one to try. So we might buy that next year and see if we can grow asparagus. So that's the green forest. Okay. I'll try and remember that. Can't guarantee that I will, but we'll try. Okay, so back to our fields. We need some nitrogen on there. Need some weed spraying on there. We need some NPK on there. Some NPK on there as well. Just wait for days to cycle. We need some nitrogen on there. Focus on the cash crops. That's a food crop for the animals. Spent too much time going around doing weird stuffs. So, okay, get some more on there, and then we'll check out our zucchini fields. That needs irrigation. So it needs an irrigation. Okay, that's cool. That. Do. Well, so it's going to be irrigation. So the taters. It's all needed doing. When having the multiple tractors does come in handy. That one needs a weed spray. It's just getting its irrigation. That one's irrigation is scheduled. On to this one. A lot of titivating to be done, but that's the nature of management game. So, got to have some kind of activity to keep you doing stuff. Otherwise, you just fast forward. Oh yeah, I'm making tons of money. I just press fast forward and I don't do anything, which you could probably do if you were just doing the animals and just planting ryegrass. Could probably get away with that quite easily, I would think. So, yeah. It's all the fun of the fair, as usual. Check in on the what's it? On the Discord. So the game does have a Discord server. It's been quite active over the last kind of few days, ever since the launch on Monday. So that should catch the nitrogen up. That's some phosphorus. That needs some water. So you can see as you get more fields, you gotta really keep an eye on stuff. Because, yeah. Reasons. I mean, and if you don't, all that's going to happen is your crop's health is going to reduce down. So we're trying to get the maximum crop to get the maximum yield. You can see we've got the summer wheat basically because of sunshine, which we can't affect. I can't make the sun shine anymore in this locale than it's going to. Therefore, I've got to accept that. Now, if this were a cash crop, I would probably not do it. But it's a animal feed crop. But it's an animal feed crop for an animal that, yeah, is not producing it. I mean, we're getting $8,000 a year from chickens. We would need a whole bunch more chickens to really make that a truly profitable endeavour. So, if I could now, I would sell the chickens. So I might actually. We haven't looked at that. It says it's too cold for chickens, so they're not out, but they are out. So I'm going to take them off the pastures. Those are the 2 chicken pastures, and see if we can. Okay, now they're not on the pastures, we can sell them. So I was kind of correct in what I was thinking earlier. We can sell the chickens, but I'm not going to do that right now because I'm going to allow them back on the pastures. Because it wouldn't make sense that if they weren't in the stable that you could sell them and they're just out on the pasture. So that's just confirmed that from earlier in the stream. But because we're growing the summer wheat, I'm going to let them go through probably another year. So we'll sell them towards the end of 2035. Just simply because, yes, they're nice, but they're not profitable. We can use the space for something else. And then we haven't got to grow summer wheat, which is not a good crop for us because the yield... I mean, we had a 16-ton yield there, and we're now down to 10 tons. I said we'd probably be somewhere between 8 and 10 tons, and I wasn't wrong. And that's just simply because of the lack of sunshine. So we're losing, losing a significant amount of the crop. So yeah, so that's what's going to happen with that. We're gonna wind the chickens down over the coming year, just simply because not worth it. I'd rather invest and do more ryegrass and get more sheep, because the sheep, if we double the sheep again, we're making 200,000 a year from the wool from the sheep, from 12 sheep. So if we were to go, say we went to 30 sheep, so we should be getting 500,000 a year just from the sheep. We'd obviously need to have enough pasture space, enough feed for them, and a few more kind of stables. Don't know if we can build larger. No, there's just the one size of stable. So we'd have to build probably another 3 of those. So that's going to cost us 225 grand. So not a small endeavour, but we'd make that money back. And again, this big field could potentially become, some of these larger fields could become the pastures for the sheep. This one is only it's just less than a hectare. That's 1.5. Those are both 1.5, so that would be capable of supporting a bunch more sheep. So yeah, thoughts and thoughts. So we've got a potential asparagus field. Got, like I said, plans to wind down chickens. Plans to probably increase sheep. Plans to buy this field. So hopefully that'll make us huge monies. I'd really love the ability to kind of merge these fields in, because that would just make sense to me. I suppose I could kind of look at the editor, but I don't think you can edit the pre-existing fields, although I'm fairly sure they're going to add that, but I'm not 100% sure. Again, look, you've just got these little fields here, and it would just be nice to be able to merge. So, but again, early access, and I'm sure more is going to come. It's obviously the post-launch bugs and stability stuff that they're working on. I don't know. I haven't seen a roadmap published. And I think largely that's because they wanted to get it into early access, get some feedback, and have people's opinions help to drive the roadmap, rather than just go, oh yeah, we're going to go do this, and it not be something that folks are interested in. So I definitely support that. Okay, so let's have another zhuzh around the fields. That needs some water and some phosphorus. That needs some water. We'll wait for that, and some weed killing. And you can see these things haven't really had an impact. It just goes to this gold colour. That's just a kind of pre-warning state, really. Weeds, as always, starts with the red bar, but until you get much above kind of 10 to 15% weeds, you don't really get too much of a negative impact. You can see lack of sunshine is still our biggest issue here. So that's now being harvesterized. Yeah. Taters are coming. This is the only field that I've found out of our current fields that actually really supports the potatoes properly. We do seem to make money from it, so I'm okay with that. So just put the irrigation on there just to recover it. Irrigation on there. Obviously, it'll take place after the harvest. So normally it plans it for the day after now, so i.e. tomorrow. If there's an action going on the field, generally it seems to plan it for the day after. So if you've already got a fertilizer spread or a herbicide spray, it'll plan it for the day after that finishes. Assuming that on that day that you will be planning it for, that you have the availability of workers and the equipment. So we got 4 tons of taters. 4 tons of taters. That's 17,000. Not the best yield? Well, not the best yield. Not the best amount of money, but certainly not horrendous. Let's check on our field up here. Need some phosphorus. Some water. Okay. So let's get this water now. When you've got like 100 fields, I think, again, future expansion I think needs to happen is having the ability to employ not just employees, but also to have like a manager, so that you can have a bunch of fields assigned so that it manages the nutrient levels and automatically runs the fertilizing, weeding, and irrigation. Because if you've got hundreds of fields in a place, you couldn't possibly keep up with all that, I don't think. Obviously, perhaps management workers would have a higher wage cost, a higher hiring cost, and you might need to have a building in your farm that is like the management office, and it would accommodate only so many field managers. And so that would be cool. That would. So I don't know if any of the Therabytes or kind of Aerosoft folks are going to be watching this, but if they are, then yeah, I think that would be a cool thing to kind of do. Um, you might already have your own ideas of how that's going to work, but I think the mental workload when you get to kind of probably above 20 fields, I think is just going to be too much to go just at normal speed. And that's how I'm evaluating it, is can I at normal speed keep an eye on stuff and do what I need to do to keep the farm running. Because the alternative there is just going to be what I perceive as perhaps the easy option of buy one big field, do a bunch of ryegrass, buy a couple of mid-sized fields, whack sheep on them, and just keep going and don't actually bother with the crops where you need to manage the soil content particularly well. And I think it would be a shame if people's gameplay evolved into that, because I think some of the beauty of the game is having the crop calendar, having the ability to go years into the future and kind of potentially plan all the way as far as you want to. But also you can see what you've done in the past. I really, 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 really. We go back to 2025 and we didn't have all these fields. But yeah, so I really like that. And I think it would be a shame if that were kind of subverted by the fact that the mental load that you get from kind of keeping an eye and titivating the fields to maximize your yield couldn't be managed by an in-game mechanic such as a field manager. And it might be that you, like I said, you have to employ them, you have to find a slot for them in a building in the farm, and you have to then tick it on, and they can manage 3 fields or 4 fields or something. I just think that would be a cool thing. So I might throw that in the suggestion box. Simply because it's I think it's going to come up at some point. And I get maybe some people are kind of, well, you just do the management ahead of time and you just leave the field go for the growing season. It's go, well, okay, maybe, but maybe not. Okay, so we've got wheat, we've got the zucchini harvested, we've got potatoes harvested, we've got the other zucchini being harvested. Let's sell the zucchini from down there. 40 grand, thank you very much. Apples, 31 grand, thank you very much. Which apple field was that? That was this one. We've got wheat coming in. Already sold the taters. I'm going to write that down. Because, yeah. Okay. So we are getting towards the end of our growing season on all our crops for 2034. But we've now got plenty of crops available for the chickens, so it should take us through to the end of next year. And whatever wheat we do have left, we shall sell. So I've said this before. There are obviously differences in prices. I don't see them fluctuating massively. I think there is difference.
All hands brace for impact.
Remember that being, I think, £1.60, €1.60. Keep an eye. Eggs at the moment are 1.40. We'll see what they're like in December, because we're always selling them in December. Maybe we're missing a trick. Maybe we're not missing a trick. So. So what else is going on? Anything? Are we all harvested? Looks like we are. Yep, apples. So we've got 47 grand from that. Zucchini. Another 46 grand. Excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So now I think we just go round the fields just to see if any of them need some ryegrass. Do we need ryegrass? Probably need one field of ryegrass. Plant this one. Ryegrass. Because it's a big field. Don't any of the others particularly need that. So the rest just as they are. So just this one field should give us enough ryegrass to kind of cover, because of course the sheep are out in lower temperatures than the chickens. We can see that the chickens will be out when it's over 12 degrees. The sheep are out when it's over 7 degrees. So da-dee-da-dee-da. Dee-da. Da-dee-da-da-da-da-da-dum. So we're now going to go a bit faster, as we've got no crops to keep an eye on. So our fields are just bare and waiting for 2035 to roll around. Say, hey! Oh, we didn't. Oh, I sold the zucchini. I didn't do the contract. Oh my goodness, that's silliness. I sold the zucchini. I didn't do the contract. Oops. We'll cancel it then. Cancelled contracts can't be accepted again. Yes, okay. Well, we'll have to wait and see what comes next year. Oops. Oops. I probably annoyed them. They're going to be annoyed with me. They're not going to give us another good contract, maybe. But we'll see. So silly of me. It was right there. Oh well. I'm a derp. Okay, so going. So again, just imagine if you do this, you plant ryegrass, you don't really worry about it, it automatically harvests and is done, and you just keep fast forwarding years and years just with sheep. Could do it. You could probably make some good money from it. I think it would be a shame. I'm probably going to run a save game at some point to do that. There we go. Now we're harvesting the ryegrass. We should get a fair amount. Really? Let's see how much we get. Is that being called pastoral field now? I don't recall it being pastoral field. Maybe the name, unless you change the name, maybe it's being randomized each time. I don't recall it being pastoral field. So we've got 2 tons of ryegrass. But we get more than that personally, but there we go, never mind. We are in December. So we're going to do our usual. I wish you all Merry Christmas 2034. And we're going to hit the pause button. Go to So no, the eggs are at the same price, so I'm not losing a trick on that. Got the wool. 100. Okay. We're getting less from the wool. Okay, interesting. But we're almost at the 1.1 million mark. So the wool didn't... Sheep haven't done as well this last year. Okay. Interesting. Interesting indeed. But it's alright because we are going to wind the chickens down in 2035. So it's going to push forward into January. Happy New Year 2035, everybody. We've now got new contracts, and we're going to try and actually pick one that we're going to do this year, but nope, there's none. Asparagus, not going to happen. Zucchini, yes. Tomatoes, no. So yeah, so we are out of luck. I really, really am frustrated by that because I could have seen if that achievement was going to work for me. Dang it. Oh, there we go. So let's figure out what we're going to do this year. So, these were zucchini. I wonder how these would do with onions. Onions, obviously in the right time of the year. Could be okay. Could be okay. We'll maybe do onions on these ones. What would the onion be in terms of... Okay, so that's going to be 10 grand, whereas apples would be 14. It's not terrible. It's not terrible. So we're going to try onions on those fields this time. These ones had apples. So I'm going to group these 4 together now, I think. So they had apples. So those are going to go zucchini. So zucchini follows apples. Onions follows zucchini. That's what we're going to look for our rotation. Perhaps. Okay, so onions. Be nice if it had like a button to say plant at recommended time of year. 70%, 73% seems to be about the best that we've got. So we're going to whack that in there. Middle of May. We are going to ask for a cultivation. And we're going to lock it in. Come down here. We're going to plant onions. We're going to go there-ish. Middle of May on the other one. Come a bit earlier. So beginning of May. So we're going to make it a couple of weeks difference. Just for the sake of it. And we're going to add cultivation. Yeah, cultivation should do it. Okay. And so that's those fields. So now we've got to do zucchini on these ones. Zucchini is a later crop, generally. Find it gets... like 97% is the best fit we've got there. So we'll start in June. Oh, 98%. Ooh, even better. There's no weeds, so we'll just go for that. So let's go here. Plant zucchini also. Zucchini, zucchini. So make that about a week later. Got weed damage. Let's put a cultivating on. And that'll take care of that. Boom. And zucchini here. That was 5th of June. We're going to go 9th of June there. We're going to do cultivating for weeds. Confirm. 2 here. And we're going to go further again. 11th. Further. 13th of June. Got 10% weed, so cultivation will take care of that. Okay. The zucchini is pretty good because the only thing we've got to do manually is the harvest. And like I say, it likes the latter part of the year. Not going to get much better than that. So, okay, well, we were about the 13th. Yes, we were 13th. Confirm. So that's those fields sorted. Just the big field, I think. So we're not planting summer wheat on it again. Do apples because we haven't done that on here. What am I doing? There we go. That's what I'm doing. So apples generally start about there. Okay, so starting there is better. So we're going to start beginning of May, 9th of May. We've got water issues, weed issues. We're doing the cultivation, which will take care of the weeds. And we confirm that and give it a zhuzh of irrigation. So we should have everything. Yeah, all bar the 6 fields are now planned. See the zucchini kind of progresses. Excellent. We have a plan. We can get going. Looked at Steam, but I need to look at Steam because we should hopefully now have the 10 years going on. Hopefully, if I'm lucky. Where's my Steam gone? Steam, Steam, wherefore art thou Steam? That's Steam, the platform, not Steam streamer. Yes, play for 10 years. I have just got the achievement. Yay! So we've got that one down. Excellent. It's going to be a while longer before we get the 10 contracts, but hey ho. We're not in a hurry. We're just in a hurry. We're going to go to fast mode. I think all these fields are pretty much ready for their crops to be. That's got weed damage, but we've got the cultivation. It's got weed damage, but we've got the cultivation. That's got no potassium, so we're going to NPK that ahead of time. That one's also going to need an NPK. I know it says potassium, but we just might as well do the full shbook. It would have been done if we'd have done the ryegrass, so that's my mistake. Wouldn't be the first one this stream, won't be the last one, I'm sure. But that's okay. So, head back up to fast speed. Just going to go back around, make sure we've got nothing other than weeds showing up. Okay, we are ready. We're ready for growing season 2035. So it'll be the last year we have chickens. So that's why we're not worried about planting any more summer wheat or any grains for chickens. Having bought that great big silo, probably end up being that we can grow oats or something on a big field like that. We get a harvester and we could turn some profit doing that on a bunch of fields, hopefully. Waiting on... Who's going to seed first? Looks like it's going to be the onions going in first. And the apples shortly afterwards. Yeah, onions, apples, onions. The good thing, obviously, is when we go fast forward, it will come back down to slow speed when it starts taking an action. You do hear the badunks, but that is just the workers being paid and the monthly fee for the animals. Get to the onions, we'll start our new growing season. Yeah. Oh, stretchy time. Cultivation started on non-grazing field. Yes. Snarky fad was snarky fad, so that's fine. That's only past fad as in earlier in the stream, but there we go. So we now go to normal speed. See the work progressing. So you can see the weed as 7%. It's showing a weed damage score. Of course, the cultivating will get rid of that. And it's cheaper to do the cultivating than it is to throw the pesticide on. Of course, you can't cultivate in the middle of crops growing, so you can get 20% of the weeds gone with cultivating, 50% with ploughing. So there you go. We're now up to a 98% crop fit, so we should get a good yield. Also started to seed, getting ready to seed the apple field. That's the next up after this one. Onions are growing. Brings a tear to my eye. No, it doesn't, but it probably should do. So we've got a set of crops that work for us on this soil mix. I don't know if that's the case on all maps, all locations, but onions, zucchini, and apples seem to work really well in this location, just outside Bertrange in Luxembourg. If you're interested in playing the same location, it's the postcode that I used to center it is L-8077 in Luxembourg, which is effectively this building here is my center point. So there we go. This one got the weeds, but the weeds are not showing as a damage issue. The apples tend to be a little bit less weed generating and a little bit less affected by it, I think. So it's good. Again, the sensitivities they seem to be different. I don't know precisely how it's been programmed. But yeah, the sensitivities for different things seem to be variable by crop. I assume to match the characteristics of that crop within a reasonable margin. So there we go, 99% crop fit for apple. Of course, we can use the thingy, the tractors to do this, but planting itself will be manual. Again, be nice to see a tree planting thing where you've got to have a couple of workers on the back and you just do that. That's again, I say possibility expansion for the future. Wait and see how things go. Now seeding apples, and our onion field up here is 6 days away. 6 days away. Of course, when we're at normal speed, 10 seconds is 1 day. Doesn't feel like that in real life, but there we go. Though some days are closer to 10 seconds than 24 hours. Stretchy again. Don't know why I'm stretching so much this morning, but there we go. Do, do, do. Down. 3 days away. That's what I thought. Still going to be seeding this one whilst the onions start. So our little worker is doing the seeding dance. Please don't say I prance, I'm only doing the seeding dance. Onions. Sheep over here. Nice. Finding some more pasture land for the sheep as well. Do, 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 do. Cultivation sorts the weeds. We're up to 95% crop fit, so that one's not quite as good. Not quite sure what's caused that effect. Maybe it's just the timing of it. We might see some impacts coming in as we get towards the end of it if it's a lack of sunshine type of thing, or a temperature type of thing. But we'll see. We shall keep an eye. Is this one seeded by machine as well? Growing onions. That's going to need a judge. I don't usually let the weeds get to 10%. So if this were real life, there'd probably be way too much pesticide in the food chain, but that is not my primary concern. It's not real life, and we're not under any restrictions, so we're going to keep the crops in the healthiest condition possible. Maybe not the people, but definitely the crops. And who knows, maybe we're using organic fertilizers. Although with it being labelled as NPK, I doubt it. And with the spreader, it's obviously pellets. So we're nearly finished with the apples. Zucchini going in 7, 12, 16 and 20 days. I'm liking this because it's now going to give us a little bit more of a flow with having multiple fields. Rather than trying to do individual rotations for each field, I've now got a set of fields. So we've got the one big field on its own rotation. So the two of these fields will go from onions to apples. That will go from apples to onions. No, apples to zucchini, and the zucchini will go from zucchini to onions. So we've got a 3-crop rotation. We've got 3 different groups. So it's yeah, it's a way of working. Yeah, so we'll probably see out the remainder of the seeding, and once the seeding's completed, I'll probably hit the pause button, and we'll be calling it a day for today. So we've reached 2035. We've got our 10-year achievement. We fluffed a contract. We have aspirations on. Oh, we have aspirations on an asparagus field. Should I be looking at that now? Do you think? Let's look at it now. We might be a little bit too late. Let's look at it now. So let's buy the field. 270,000. We're investing between 200,000 and 300,000 per year. So let's buy it, and then let's call it. Let's not call it anything for the minute. Let's see what we can get asparagus-wise going. So silt mismatch.
Cultivator!
So Big Trucker, thank you very much for the 25 bits and the La 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 Cultivator. Welcome. I hope you're having a good start to your morning and waking up with a nice cup of coffee. So yeah, so that we've still got this silt mismatch, but it still gives us a 90% crop. So I'm actually not going to be put off by that. Although it's kind of frustrating, but 90% is still 90%. So we're going to try and consider this our asparagus field, or one of them, because those mismatches aren't horrifically awful. So yeah, but let's plant the asparagus. Seeding takes too long. Don't know why it says that, but let's see if there's anything to be gained by putting it later on. Oh, 91% there. Really? Doesn't have any temperature issues? Okay, that's maybe where it kind of... So let's... Should we plant it on the 4th of July? No. It's only a 1% difference, so I'm not going to... For a 1% difference, we're going to go middle of June. Middle of June. There we go. So we are going to do asparagus, see if we can get a field to do it okay. Just got home from work. Oh, well, welcome home. Ratings from 2.8C with inside 13.7. Okay, ooh. Yeah, what have we got outside today? It's outside, it's currently 10 degrees, and I've probably got a lot better than that in my office, so...
All hands brace for impact.
Tried starting the furnace yesterday, initially started and then stopped, and now it's stopped again. Oh dear. Hope the flame probes get here today and fix it. Yeah, that's suboptimal when you're heading into the colder season. But there we go. So we are now looking at zucchini seeding. Got our Asparagus field. I might re-examine some of these fields to see if asparagus gets a 90% potential yield or not. It doesn't there. Let's see if any of these fields are even remotely friendly to asparagus. That's about the same 13% mismatch on the what's it. So we might have to have a look at that next year. So, because it does seem to be hurting us with the contracts, the fact that we don't have asparagus growing. So we've got weed damage here. Let's get that sprayed. Let's get that one sprayed. Oh, why am I doing that? They haven't been planted yet. Dang it, I've confused myself again. It's all good fun. It's all good fun. It's only virtual money. And the fact that we've just sprayed that for weeds and we're now going to go and cultivate it. Just kind of, yeah, silliness. Silliness. But it's okay. So yeah, so we are trying to get just through to the end of the seeding. So we're now growing zucchini on there. Planting this zucchini in 2 days. 6 days, 10 days. Then we're planting asparagus in 14 days. It's a few minutes away. Because each day is about 10 seconds. So, yeah, so hopefully you've got some nice warm blankets to stay warm with Big Trucker. It's, yeah, like I said, not the ideal time to be without heating. My heating system is due for service. We try to organise that shortly. Go. So seeding zucchini. Zucchini we get to seed with the tractor, but we have to harvest by hand. So it's quite efficient this time of year, and then when we get to harvest, it's a little bit more manual. It's okay. We replaced the flame probe year before last. Last year it just worked. To do start of season repairs 3 out of 5 heating seasons. Oof. Yeah, I tend to not be self-sufficient in that regard, so I have people come and service it. I didn't do for the first few years of being in this property, and then I did simply because it started making a little tickling noise that wasn't the same as it had been. So I kind of paid attention. That okay, maybe I should have it serviced. Just have someone come in, take it apart once a year, give it a clean out, make sure it's working okay. Yeah, because of course it does the hot water and the heating as well. So now planting zucchini again. Oh, that was a... Oh, thank you very much, BT, for the Prime subscription. Last sub expired and it went to commercials. Oh, sorry about that. But I do appreciate the Prime sub very much. Like I say, never expected, always appreciated. So thank you very much. They take you by surprise, don't they? Those when the Prime sub expires. But there we go. So we've got one more field of zucchini and then a field of asparagus, and then we will be planted for the year. And once we're planted for the year, I'm going to call stream for today. We'll be back tomorrow to see how we get on. I'm going to write down, we've got to sell the chickens. 35 is going to be the year of selling chickens. Going to get rid of them. Going to stop chickening around. Because, yes. Mine does heat with a propane forced air and air conditioning. Ah, okay. Propane forced air and air conditioning. Okay, yeah. We don't have. I have portable air conditioning in it, so we don't have combination systems much here. Mostly because air conditioning is not needed that frequently, although increasingly there are days when it's very, very useful. Okay, so zucchini going in. So we've got onion, zucchini, and apple planted. It's just now our asparagus field. Look at how well that worked out. 2 days later, the asparagus field gets done. Happy with that. Oh, I didn't put any cultivating, so we'll just spray it. Tankless water heater installed when you got this place 5 years ago. Yeah, I have a tank because I use the solar electricity to heat my water most of the time if I can. Here we go. Asparagus going in. Aiming for 90% yield, 90% crop fit, 90% health by the time it finishes is what I want to try and achieve. And it's going to be challenged by the fact that the soil is not great, but we'll see. So we've got 2 people, as you can see. It said it would take too long to plant. So we've got 2 people. Solar is a solution. Yeah, it works. It's using solar electricity. It's not using solar power or solar thermal to heat the water. It's just the excess electricity generated that goes into my tank. So, or into my car, depending upon what kind of a day it is. So, there we go. So we're just going to get this. Just going to speed this up. We're going to get this done. So we are going back to asparagus, having written it off as a crop. We're going back to it. No, not solar thermal. No, I've seen systems like that. For me, I'd rather have the electrical because then, if I'm generating the electric, I can use it to heat the water. But if I don't need to heat the water, I'm still generating the electric. Whereas if I dedicate part of the roof to solar thermal, I guess it's solar thermal, whatever it is, solar hot water heating where it kind of doesn't use electricity. Yes. Okay, asparagus is planted. So after all that fuss, it's only 0.1% per day. So it's 0.6% per day that we're losing over the course of 60 days. So let's just do a little getting this up. So 0.6. That says 36%. That's not great. So that means we would be down to like 60-odd% health of the crop. We'll see. If that's the case, then this field might not last more than a season. Or it might get changed to be in rotation with our other, with these ones. Still need the pump. Yeah, obviously, for the hot water, no, for the hot water of the tap, no. This is not for heating the house with hot water. This is just simply for hot water out of the tap, BT. So, asparagus, indeed. Aspara Gus. Its name is Gus, but its first name is Aspara. Gus. So yeah, so we'll see how Gus gets on. We'll see that tomorrow morning about the same time. So I'm going to hit the old save button. Save button. So yeah, so we've made some progress again. So just a quick little recap is we've kind of gone into different rotations for 3 groups of fields. We've got aspirations on this field. We have purchased this field for asparagus, and we'll see how we get on crop-wise. We have decided to sell chickens and not do chickens anymore. We purchased a larger silo for grains. We purchased a medium-sized silo for grains, medium-sized silo for the ventilated stuff for apples, onions, zucchini, because we tend to be doing a lot of those crops. So we're moving our storage in that direction. We purchased an additional parking facility. We have an additional seedbed preparator, a secondary vegetable planter. So we've been putting in some investments to kind of level up our farming to bigger and more multiple fields. To pump the sun heated fluid back and forth to the water tank. Oh yeah, no, because it just heats it in the tank, so it doesn't get heated by the sun at all. But yeah, you still need power to kind of to run that. So yeah, so I'm going to whack an MPK on there, which will happen next time. So yeah, so I'll be back tomorrow, and I'm going to say thank you, everyone. Thank you, particularly Big Trucker and poor Johnny and Vam for keeping me company in the chat. It's always a pleasure. Apologies for the section of the stream where I muted myself and was not actually there. We're going to have a little look at the raidage, see who we've got to raid. Badge has been live the last few times, but not currently. So we don't have anyone to raid, so I'm going to say thank you, everybody, for watching. An absolute pleasure, as always. I hope you have a fantastic rest of the day. I'll be back this evening with Stardew Valley, and tomorrow morning with more of Global Farmer. Thank you again, Big Trucker, for the squee, and thank you for the bits earlier on, the 25 bits from the earlier sound alert. Always very much appreciated. And also for the Prime sub. So yeah, until next time, you guys take care of yourselves, and I will catch you hopefully either later today or tomorrow. Bye for now.